Sydney is the largest city in Australia by population and is home to some of the most spectacular and eye-catching tourist attractions in the country. But what makes Sydney even more special is the fact that by 2023, the city plans on opening new attractions with several pop artists like Ed Sheeran, Lil Nas X, and Post Malone, all planning mega concerts in those tourist spots. So if you're planning to make a trip to Sydney in 2023, here are the top attractions and events you should check out during your stay. Oh, but make sure you stick to the end because the number one tourist attraction on our list might become the biggest and most luxurious building in the whole of Australia. Trust us when we say you don't want to miss it. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into the video. The Sydney Opera House. Our first attraction is the Sydney Opera House. Before we talk about the main features of the Opera House, I want you to understand that this attraction is one of the biggest. Not just in Sydney or Australia alone, but in the entire world. From the fantastic and mind-blowing architecture to the interior that's bombarded with luxury fittings, we believe the Sydney Opera House should be number one on your bucket list of places to visit. The Sydney Opera House was designed by Danish architect Jorn Utzon, who clearly has a futuristic view of architecture. The groundbreaking design of the Opera House portrays a series of overlapping shells and sails, but the true beauty of the Opera House comes alive when the sun shines on its glimmering white shells with the blue waters of the Sydney Harbour, giving it a little contrast from the sides. And for us, the craziest part about the Sydney Opera House is that it actually costs $0 to visit. Yep, you heard that correctly, $0. That's the reason why this attraction is one of the busiest in the whole city, as it draws in more than 9 million visitors on average every year. But it doesn't end there. Inside the Opera House are 6 theaters that can host 5,800 guests with about 2,000 shows performed annually. Oh, and before we forget, when you go visit Sydney, make sure you get a good selfie in front of the Opera House. It always looks so good on the gram. Sydney Harbour Bridge. Or you could take a photo of the Opera House from our next attraction, which is the Sydney Harbour Bridge. The Sydney Harbour Bridge, which opened in 1932, is the largest sea arch bridge on the planet. This 134-meter high bridge, usually called coat hanger by the locals, allows you to experience Sydney in different ways. One way is to take a good walk through the bridge from the circular quay, all the way to Wharf 2. During this walk, you'd get to see a perfect view of the Opera House and the warm, endless blue of the harbour. And if you want to know a little bit more about the construction of the bridge, or get a 360 view of Sydney from the top of the bridge's arch, then you can pay a little fee to any famous Sydney Experience tour company, and they'll definitely sort that experience out for you. Bondi Beach. Another Sydney attraction that pulls a huge influx of visitors each year is the famous Bondi Beach. Bondi Beach is one of the most famous beaches in the world. Around 3 million visitors come here yearly, making it the busiest beach in Australia. Just to put into context how busy it can get, especially during the summer, an average of 40,000 people are recorded to visit Bondi Beach on really hot days. That's definitely a lot of people. But don't worry because there's enough room, or should we say space, for everyone to relax, chill, and have a wonderful time. And apart from the beautiful scenery of the deep blue sea, Bondi Beach offers a beachside pool for an extra fee of $8. But hey, if you're not looking to pay anything extra, then by all means enjoy the cultural beach atmosphere with the numerous places to get food, drinks, and also party wild. The Festival of the Winds. Bondi Beach will also host the 2023 Sydney Festival of the Winds. This annual event, which takes place in the first half of September, allows experienced kite flyers to demonstrate their skills by flying handmade kites in the sky. Just imagine the chill vibe of Bondi Beach with hundreds of colorful kites floating in the sky. There are also a bunch of other activities like making and flying a kite yourself, getting access to the widest variety of intercontinental dishes from around the world, and attending some pretty chill parties. Concerts in 2023. Speaking of parties, there are a few concerts by A-list pop artists coming to Sydney in 2023. So for all the Lil Nas X fans watching this right now, your favorite artist is performing at the Hordern Pavilion on January 4th, 2023. And the good part is the Hordern Pavilion is just an 8-minute drive from Bondi Beach. That means you get to chill at one of the largest beaches in the world and still attend Lil Nas X's concert. We don't know about you, but that sounds pretty cool. There are also a ton of other artists coming down to Sydney in 2023, but the two biggest names right now are Post Malone and Ed Sheeran. Post Malone is performing on February 4th, 2023. at the Sydney Football Stadium, which is just 7 minutes away from the Opera House if you're using a taxi. And Ed Sheeran is performing at the Accor Stadium on February 24th and 25th, 2023. Now, why Ed Sheeran's concert is particularly interesting is that the venue, which is the Accor Stadium, is a tourist attraction itself. Accor Stadium. The Accor Stadium is one of the world's most entertaining venues for various sports. It was the main stadium used during the Sydney 2000 Olympics and Paralympic Games. It can contain 100,000 spectators during live events and concerts, while seats 80,000 people for sporting events. So if you're into sports, we advise you to check out the Accor Stadium in 2023. Because in 2023, the Accor Stadium will have the world's largest LED video screens that measure at a staggering dimension of 1,200 square meters. That's like putting 8 3D billboards at the Times Square Garden together. You don't need me to tell you how that's going to be. One amazing sight to see! Sydney Tower Eye. Again, another amazing sight for you to see is the bird's eye view of Sydney from the top of the Sydney Tower Eye. This one you cannot miss. Like, if you do, your trip is totally incomplete. The Sydney Tower Eye offers a complete 360-degree view of everything, and we mean everything that Sydney has to offer. The Tower Eye stands at 250 meters, giving you a surreal view of the entire city, including the Blue Mountains, which are approximately 80 kilometers away. But there's more to the Sydney Tower Eye than just viewing the city. There's a 4D cinematic experience at the top of the tower that lasts for at least 10 minutes, keeping you glued to the show and definitely making you want more. And for those who love daredevil activities, there's a Tower Eye skywalk that allows visitors to get an even closer view of the city while they are strapped to cords on a rail. Sea Life Sydney Aquarium. If you're a great fan of some underwater adventure, then you'd love this next attraction. The Sea Life Sydney Aquarium is home to the widest variety of aquatic life in Australia. There are over 400 different species of fish in the aquarium, with over 13,000 individual fish. Founded in 1988, this attraction is regarded as one of Sydney's oldest attractions, with over 55% of its guests coming from outside Australia. Sydney World Pride 2023. Another amazing event happening in Sydney come 2023 is the Sydney World Pride event. The World Pride event will take place between February 17th and March 3rd, 2023, and it will feature over 300 shows to celebrate the LGBTQ community. This is one of the most free-spirited events happening in 2023, so make sure you don't miss it. But hey, if you're enjoying this exciting video from us at Travel Confident, then scroll down, give this video a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on any future videos. Come on, go hit those buttons and let's keep this awesome video going! The Ribbon. And now the #1 Sydney attraction that's opening in 2023 is The Ribbon by W Sydney. In the fourth quarter of 2023, W Hotels will make its debut in Sydney by opening up its first luxurious building in Australia. This building, known as The Ribbon, will be a 585-room luxury hotel with 25 floors at a staggering height of 295 feet. If you're familiar with other W hotels around the world, you'd know that when these guys say luxury, they mean luxury. The Ribbon is located in Darling Harbour, adding a little spice of modern luxury to the area. This will also serve as a new Sydney attraction due to the high level of detailing in its architecture and the magnificence of its structure. And apart from its 585 luxury rooms, the Ribbon will also have a restaurant, an infinity pool, and 2-story rooftop bar. If you don't think that's cool, then I definitely don't know what is. Okay, now that we know all the cool stuff happening in Sydney come 2023, here's our question to you. Which of these tourist attractions would you like to visit and why? Let us know in the comments section down below. Also, you might want to check out this other video shown on your screen right now, so click on it and we'll meet you there.